Anthony F. Elmore, President and Founder of the proud Black Buddhist World Association. Today, we bring you another one of our proud Black Buddhist lectures. My lecture today is the proper Buddhist practice is to listen to the Lotus Sutra. We must use our mouth or sutra. We must speak. We must talk. We must share. That is the proper way of Buddhism. It's not sitting and practicing meditation. Now, the Gosho is called the Sacred Teachings of the Buddha's Lifetime reads, quote, with regard to the word kyo, profound meaning says, quote, the voice carries out the work of the Buddha, and this is called kyo or sutra. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the sutra or kyo, that's the voice of the Buddha. And when we tell people about Buddhism, when we teach Buddhism, when we use our voice and tell people about the Buddhist teachings, this is sutra, this is kyo. When people listen, they can awaken, but we must tell them about the Buddhist teachings. You see, in the Gosho, the true entity of life, it says, exert yourself in the two ways of practice and study. Without practice and study, there can be no Buddhism. You must not only persevere yourself, but you must teach others to the best of your ability, even if it's only a single sentence or phrase. We who teach Buddhism, or we who practice Buddhism, must use our voice to teach Buddhism. We must sing the Buddhist songs. We must send emails and pictures and texts and teach, copy, recite. It is so easy to do it now than it did years ago. We can take our cell phone and send a passage. We can recite, we can copy, we can hear, we can listen. We can teach Buddhism. It is not in meditation, but it is listening and preaching and talking the Lotus Sutra. How we can teach Buddhism. You see, the essence of the Buddhist teachings is not meditation. The essence of the Buddhist teachings is education, or what we call kyo. You see, the Gosho, the Daimoku of the Lotus Sutra reads, quote, within the single character kyo are contained all the sutras and the worlds throughout the 10 directions. It is like a wish-granting jewel that contains within it all manners of treasures of the vastness of space that encompasses all phenomena. And because this single character kyo of Myoho Renge Kyo is the supreme achievement of the Buddha's lifetime of teachings, the other four characters, Myoho Renge Kyo, likewise surpass all other 80,000 doctrines the Buddha taught, unquote. You see, the word kyo encompasses all phenomena. In common sense terms, when we say kyo, we are speaking of not only the Buddhist teachings. This concept is inclusive of all the teachings in the universe. In a general sense, meditation is a part of kyo, but the essence of kyo is learning the Buddhist teachings or education. In a specific sense, Buddhist education means to awaken. To awaken means to grasp wisdom. You see, the Gosho, entity of the mystic law reads, quote, the supreme principle, that is, the mystic law, was originally without a name. When the sage was observing the principle and assigning names to all things, he perceived that there is this wonderful single law, Myoho, and that simultaneously possesses both cause and effect, Renge, and he named it Myoho Renge Kyo. This single law, that is, Myoho Renge Kyo, encompasses within it all phenomena comprising the 10 worlds and the 3,000 realms and lacking in none of them. Anyone who practices this law will attain both the cause and effect of Buddhahood simultaneously. Now, it goes on further. The sage practiced with this law as his teacher, and he attained enlightenment, and therefore he simultaneously obtained both the mystic cause and the mystic effect of Buddhahood, becoming the thus come one of perfect enlightenment and fully realized virtues, unquote. You see, the Buddhist teachings are where God and science meets. See, the Gosho is called the Doctrines of the 3,000 Realms. It says, quote, if there are those who hear the law, then not one will fail to attain Buddhahood. Here it speaks of those who hear the law, but if it were referring to those who attain Buddhahood through meditation, it would say, if there are those who meditate on the law. You see, we must hear the law. We as proud Black Buddhists must teach the law to our people. When we look at Dr. Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, Nichiren Buddhism, or Nelson Mandela, they use their voice to teach. Now, what are the teachings of the Buddhists, the highest teachings in the universe? Asians got Black people not only doing the dumbest Buddhist practice in the world, you got some white people who purposely promote delusion. See, let me be clear. White supremacy is a delusion. In the history of mankind, there never existed any white people who conquered Black people in ancient India called Aryans. There were never a group of white people called Aryans. It never existed. When the light-skinned Brahmin language, Sanskrit, was being invented, they took the word Arya from the Black language of Sanskrit, and they invented the word Aryan. They created a false writings called the Vedas, or myths, and they came up with a theory called the Aryan invasion theory, whereas these so-called super white people came in and conquered the Black people. They were called Aryans. No such thing has ever happened, yet the Japanese and the Asians who teach us Buddhism, they teach about the Aryan invasion theory. It never happened. That is not the true teaching. See, the word yo means correct. It is not the true teaching. See, the Buddha intoned. The Buddha was the first to intone Myoho Renge Kyo. The word myo means correct. It means mystic. It means incomprehensible. It means wonderful. He explained that all life is myo, and when life manifests, it's called ho or lo. Now, the Buddha used the symbol of the lotus to explain the simultaneousness of the law of cause and effect. Now, the teachings or the essence of this law is called Kyo. And how do you get the Kyo out? The Kyo, or the workings of the Buddha, or the teachings of the Buddha, the Kyo is what we have. Our voice explains the Kyo. Our voice explains the sutra. We are to teach Buddhism. You see, again, the sacred teaching of the Buddha lifetime reads, with regard to the word Kyo, profound meaning says, quote, the voice carries out the work of the Buddha, and this is called Kyo, a sutra. See, the voice is called Kyo. Kyo is education, not meditation. Anyway, let me bring this lesson to a close. The voice carries out the work of the Buddha. All of the great Black leaders use their voice to make change in the world, or to do good, or to do the Buddha's work. They all had one thing in common: education of their humanity, of their God-given birthright. Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, Dr. Nichiren Buddhism of India, they had in common was a correct understanding of history and a lot of faith and a lot of Kyo, of voice. They use their voice to spread the truth. And that's what we do. That is what Buddhism is about. We teach our history, we teach our culture, we teach our language. You see, we chant the words, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu means to awaken. How do you awaken? You awaken. The Gosho, the real aspect of the Gohanzan reads, how does one hear, believe in, and practice the perfect teachings to attain perfect enlightenment? The first part of concentration insight says, to believe in the perfect teaching means to awaken faith through doctrine and to make faith the basis of our practice. We study the doctrines of Buddhism, and when we understand these true and perfect teachings, we gain faith. Anyway, let me bring this to a conclusion. The word Namo means to say, wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Wake up! What? Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Come on, wake up! Wake up!
Please, wake up.